Welcome in, everybody. Joe Quills here with you, and it is Saturday morning, another edition of Also Eligible. And you can tell I'm a little out of sorts today because the light wasn't on that I have, because I have a light here that I use for my shows. Since it's early in the morning here, well, early relatively speaking, the sunlight's coming in, even though, you know, the daylight. That's probably a better word because um, the sun doesn't come into the apartment until mid afternoon. But a little uh, little off today. But nothing more than usual for yours truly, as we are going to be looking at two different tracks today as we get closer to the first Saturday in May, the final legs of the Arkansas and Florida roads to the Kentucky Derby. We're going to take a look at the Florida Derby at Gulfstream Park. We'll also take a look at the Gulfstream Park Oaks. Gulfstream Park Oaks is race 9. Um, the Florida Derby is race 14. Um, Oakland only has one Derby or Oaks Trail race today because they ran the fantasy yesterday. And if you read my article, I did give you the winner. I did give you what was the horse here? I mean, I'm so thrilled about that horse winning. I forget what it was. um, Counting Stars. And she bounced back from that lackluster performance 2 races back, and she's won 2 in a row. Now, granted, it's only a 5-horse field, so it's like, well, but you take it for what it's worth. But she did draw off like she was supposed to do, especially with Explora being scratched because Bob Baffert decided, well, we'll just train up to the Oaks. So, but I think there was a point reduction involved as well because of the fact there was only 5 horses in the race. But either way, that horse will be in the Oaks. And friend of the show, Mark Cassie, will have, I think, 2 horses in the Oaks. Um, I admit I haven't looked at the standings, so I don't know where everybody is. But it is Arkansas Derby there, Derby Day there, race 13 over 14 race card there as well. And I decided I'm going to add 2 additional races to the Oaklawn side. We're going to have the American Pharoah Stakes. It's an overnight stakes there for older horses going a mile and a 16th. And the appropriately named Oaklawn Mile. And obviously it is going a mile. And there have been races or are races where they're called the mile, but they don't run at a mile. I believe there's a race at Horseshoe Indy currently, which is a mile rate, which is called the mile, but they go a mile on the 16th. And then there used to be a race at Detroit Racecourse called the Michigan Mile, but they would go a mile and an eighth. But I understood, once I got a little bit older, it's like, well, the track's a mile around. It's probably named for the actual track and not or it may have been that the race was extended. I don't know, but either way, just some goofy stuff here from here and there. So we'll get into that, and we'll get into these 5 races here, and we'll um, get into everything here, and hopefully give you guys some more winners and get you ready for the big afternoon of racing here. So lots of racing action. Baseball's back, and a lot of things. Oh yeah, we got the regional finals, as I prefer to call them, today. You have Illinois facing Iowa, and you have Arizona taking on Arizona is taking on Purdue today, so great action there. A little disappointing Houston uh, laying an egg at home, which was essentially a home game because they had a return trip to the Final Four mapped out for them, and they just laid an egg against Illinois. But kudos to Illinois for what they did here. Um, and the Big Ten does have a chance to pull a Big East and have three teams in the Final Four. So that was done back in 1985 when Villanova won for the first time, first their three national titles. But we're not here to talk college basketball. We're here to talk racing. And I do want to address one thing that came up yesterday that I saw yesterday morning, and that is the eventual closure of the FanDuel TV network. And I've got to talk and meet a couple of the guys that have worked on screen, and I'll just say it just sucks. Um, Now they're going to honor commitments for 2026 for on-track handicapping. So their contractual obligations for on-site coverage and studio productions will continue through the end of 2026 with Keeneland, Del Mar, 3 Triple Crown races, and the Breeders' Cup. Some studio personnel will begin to be laid off in July. FanDuel will retain the personnel that will be needed to produce the shows from Del Mar and Keeneland's Fall Meet and the Breeders' Cup through the end of November. But what will happen is once they pare it down late in 2026, they'll begin to exclusively broadcast simulcast feeds from its partner tracks rather than accompanying those feeds with studio shows featuring commentary and handicapping. And I admit that it sucks. So forgive me, I got a text there. I thought it was important. But like I met Dave Weaver, got to talk to him, and I don't know what he does on the side. I know that I know Nick Hines, for example, does have he is associated with myracehorse.com. Some of these people, I mean, we don't know what they do on the side or anything like that, but hopefully they can bounce back on their feet. But it's not only those, it's the people that work behind the scenes that are losing their jobs too. So, but there'll be a simulcast feed for the next year once the Breeders' Cup is over. And by the end of 2027, FanDuel Racing, FanDuel TV will no longer exist. But you will still be able to watch the races through the FanDuel Racing app, the FanDuel Racing website. So all that will remain the same. It's just that on the TVs, we know it will no longer exist. So, and it sucks. So, and also we may have been seeing a precursor of this with Todd Schrupp, who was Mr. TVG / FanDuel Racing, FanDuel TV. He was let go a couple months ago, and it was like, when I think he let the news out. I forget what was the timeline here, but when Todd Schrupp was let go, it was like, wait, what? I mean, it's like it's like having a guy who has worked for you for 30, 40 years, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh well, go kick rocks. But apparently this was a precursor, and you know, and also it's with the horse racing industry, things contract. Things have been contracting for many years, and um, hopefully, hope. I mean, maybe hopefully there's something that another company will do. Who knows? But uh, who knows? Maybe it's us here at Bleacher Brothers. Who knows? But a lot of things are going on. A lot of things are changing, and you know we're trying to be the we're trying to be the exception to the rule and get everything here the way it is. And yeah, I didn't really have a script here for that, so it's like, well, he's rambling on here. Well, yeah, it was like a kick to the gut, even for us horse racing aficionados here. So, but let's get to the races here today. We're going to look at 5 races here. Um, Remember, I said I was not going to handicap the Dubai World Cup? Well, let me rephrase that, the UAE Derby. That was because it ran about half an hour ago. Um, so just to let you guys know, it was Wonder Dean. And from what I could tell, that horse, Wonder Dean, was from what I can tell on the FanDuel Racing app, um, he broke his maiden here in this race here, going a mile and 3/16, and if he's willing to come over to America, he'll be running. So we'll see what comes up here as the field starts to get closer together here. Yeah, it says 1 start, 42 days off, didn't do anything here, did win here, field of 11. And the one thing is, you can watch these past races, and the one thing is with a racetrack like with European racing and horses coming over from around the world for any race, you can go in here and you can just click on the race, and hopefully you can have the video here. And even if you don't have it on here, you can find it on another track or website or another profile. So little by little you can piece it together, but it's much harder with those horses because the information does not translate like it does in the United States with our program. So we'll get to the races here. What we will do is we'll begin with Gulfstream. We'll look at those 2 races, and then we will then go and look at the 3 races I'm highlighting at Oaklawn Park today. So now, and another thing is, it's hard to, react to. It's hard to react to the news yesterday that FanDuel TV is not going to exist after 2027, but I'm still going to promote FanDuel Racing, FanDuel in general, but yeah. So we'll take a look here at these races here. Look at some of the stuff here. So just so you guys know, you have the money back special, up to $10 back if your horse finishes 2nd or 3rd. Today at Oaklawn, it'll be race 11, which is what? Oh, that's one of the races we're going to be looking at. That's the Oaklawn Mile. And races 7, 11, 12, and 13, those are the races today. So these two races I'm going to be covering, unfortunately, are not covered under this promotion. But if you're dabbling in all the races at Gulfstream today, those are the 5 races that you can get your money back, which is up to $10 if your horse finishes second or third in select races. If your horse finishes third, you have to have 8 or more horses in the race to get your money back. And if you have less than 5 betting interests, the money back special is null and void. And there's terms and conditions on here, and FanDuel Racing is very good with these payouts, with crediting you. So, even though they may put in terms and conditions allow X amount of time, they do end up going quick. Also, you have the Road to the Derby promo, and you get up to $20 back on second and third for the Derby preps. Oaklawn will have a field of 8, or is it 9? It will be a field of 8, 9 or under, because Napoleon Solo is going to be scratched. He's going to run in New York next week. Also, Florida Derby also has 8 horses as well. So, because Redland Rebels was cross-centered in the Florida Derby and the Arkansas Derby, he's running in Arkansas today. So, you do have that, and we'll get to those races here. But we'll begin with the Phillies, not the Philadelphia Phillies, who are 1-0 right now. Oh yeah, one last thing. And yeah, I did hit some sportsbook wagers, because the thing is with FanDuel Racing, if everything FanDuel, you can go from sportsbook to casino to racebook, any combination of, you have the same pot for all your money. So that's why I promote FanDuel. Also, where is it? Bet 10, get $50. Your first real money wager of $10 on any race on FanDuel Racing. You'll get back $50 in a racing bonus. Now, it's your first real money wager on this platform. Now, you could have a FanDuel Sportsbook account for however long you've had it. And if you've never bet on FanDuel Racing, this will apply to you. You'll be considered a new customer on this portion of the FanDuel site. So it's your first money wager, limited 1 promotion, bonus per person. Allow up to 72 hours. You get 7 days to use that credit. Now, I would imagine quick turnaround there. They're just saying 72 hours to cover their rear ends, but that will be the case there at with this promotion here. And the one thing I will tell you is, my motto is, if it's free, it's for me. And I will tell you, as I need to pull something up for later, I will tell you that, because if you're going to if they're going to give you an opportunity with free programs, and go ahead and take advantage of it. Like